Fredfield Radio, this is Chiara Nicoletti. I'm with George MacKay, actor in The End by Joshua Oppenheimer.
So I have to say that even if it's set in a post-apocalyptic world, I felt the film was a very effective metaphor of how difficult it must be for younger generations to build up a conscience, in the modern world. Did you feel it like that as well?
When you say build up a caution, how do you mean?
A conscience, in this world that keeps dehumanizing. It's very difficult nowadays, even more difficult than before.
Yeah, I think I've understood your question. This is sort of an allegory to
Yes, exactly.
the younger generation. Yeah, I think it can. I think this is about, many ways the film is about a shift of generations. It's about, essentially, well, my character, the son, is the generation that's looking to make change. And the tragedy of the film is that ultimately he doesn't change enough. He keeps the wheel turning. So I don't. I feel like the film is very specific to its setting. And the things that reverberate more widely to society and to us as humans is a kind of more nuanced theme about sort of being honest with ourselves, and that being the gateway to change.
Yeah, there's a sentence that they keep telling, in the film. You had no choice, I had no choice, as I was telling Joshua, that's a lie that we keep telling ourselves, right?
Totally, yeah. You always have choice. Yeah, you always have choice, and that's what the girl says. And I think that's the compromising, truthful provocation, is that we do, and yet also within that, I'm aware that this is also a film about privilege, and that some people might watch that and say, "Well, I didn't have a choice," and so but I think you must feel that you always you can choose what you can choose what not to do. I think some of the time the things that there was another interview I did earlier, and there was a question that related to choice, and some of the time we might not always be able to do the things exactly that we want to do, but I think we can choose what we don't do, and that is also a very powerful way of directing ourselves.
I was telling Joshua that while watching the film, I kept thinking about this Latin sentence that says, mors tua vita mea. It means your death, my life. And because I felt the film was a very effective depiction of, as I was telling you before, this process of dehumanization that we're experiencing. And Joshua told me that with this film, you're trying to rehumanize. Do you agree with that this film and cinema in general?
I think it's about humanity, and I think it's also, we're in a time in the world where things are sort of looked at often with sort of very kind of in quite a binary way. Something is good, something is bad, something is right, something is wrong, and I think it kind of gives us nowhere to go if we don't understand that humans are many things, and there is kind of good and bad and whatever, that there is so much more than just sort of good and bad, but there is so much in everyone. I think that's what this film is kind of looking to rehumanize, in terms of it is such a detailed look at this group of people, and I think all of the characters have done ostensibly wrong and are also making efforts to do right, and often some of the things that they've done wrong, they've done with absolutely the best intentions, and that is also a very human thing. So I can see what Josh means when he says he's trying to hope in this film rehumanizes.
One last thing. How did you feel the musical element serve your character and his arc?
I think that the musical element serves the film more specifically than my character. I think Josh always wanted this to be a musical because he said that he understands musicals often to be a genre of delusion. When characters sing the thing that they cannot say, and in this case, even when these characters sing, they are maybe even singing the things that they would like to say, which in a sense is still not quite the truth. So the fact that this was always going to be a musical, and that genre was part of the initial conception of the idea. I think that's very important, and I think it was, that decision was made to serve the story, and then by proxy, as characters within it, it serves all of us too.
Grazie. Thank you so
Grazie.
much.
Thank you.
And I would like to thank George MacKay, among the actors in The End by Joshua Oppenheimer. And this is Chiara Nicoletti for Fred, the Festival Insider.